The barrage of bullets sending 2 people to the hospital, and it lands a rapper in jail. 7 Sheldon Fox with the exclusive.
Pooh Shiesty just got hit with a raid after breaking his release terms, only 3 months out and already back in trouble. After that wild first day out celebration, this Memphis rapper started moving reckless, like freedom didn't mean a thing. Now, he's paying the price for it big time. See, the feds were already watching. When he dropped that first day out track, yeah, the one with over 25 million views, he threw major shade at them. And you know what happened next? They took it personal and made sure to come for him hard. The crazy part? What took him down wasn't some secret plot. It was something way more obvious than anyone wants to admit. Let's talk about how he managed to mess up his own comeback so fast. Now, before anyone says this came out of nowhere, let's set the record straight. This Memphis rapper was supposed to be living his second chance. But when federal agents stormed his place, they caught him slipping big time. He got violated for not following his parole terms. Thing is, if you've been watching him since day one, you could see it coming. Dude was acting like the rules didn't apply to him. And that's where it all got real messy. He was basically asking to go back inside. For anyone who hasn't been following, Pooh Shiesty had just come home after doing a little under 5 years from an 8-year sentence. The wild part? The feds originally tried to bury him with a 20-year stretch, but his legal team fought hard and shaved it down. And he still managed to come home early. But here's the thing. Federal parole ain't no playground. When you're on that kind of supervision, every single day feels like walking on glass. You got curfews, random check-ins, surprise visits, and a long list of rules that'll send you right back if you slip once. So when Pooh Shiesty first got out, he should have been laying low, staying cool, and protecting his second chance. Instead, dude was acting like the feds were blind, like they weren't watching his every move. Remember that moment on Ben the Don's live stream? His parole officer straight up called him, asking where he was, live in front of everybody. He was supposed to be home for curfew, but instead, he was out in the streets past his time. And what did he do? Lied to his PO on camera. Ben had to mute the mic real quick because he knew that moment was way too hot to stay on air. It was wild.
Hello?
Yeah,
Little Trey Williams. Yeah, I'm at the house.
Yeah, keep it
All
on.
right.
Just go, kid.
On the parking lot.
Right, probably.
Go make a right.
Mhm.
No. You said what? Yes, I am. Yes, I am, man. Check it again. That's where I live at. That's where I live at. Refresh it. That's where I live at. Look. I ain't lying to you. I ain't playing no game.
You can mute the
man.
joint right
You
now,
know my
twin.
face. I don't want to play like that.
That's some seriously reckless behavior right there. And the wildest part? This wasn't just a one-time slip-up. Pooh Shiesty had been moving like he was untouchable from the moment he touched down. He was all over social media, flexing hard with diamond chains, foreign cars, and talking that street talk like he wasn't still technically a federal prisoner on supervised release. Like, bro, the feds got Instagram too. But this story goes deeper than just missing curfew. Way deeper. Pooh Shiesty was basically telling on himself through his music. In one of his tracks, he even rapped, "Out on paper with a fully ARP sitting on my counter." And anyone who really knows the streets understands that line ain't just talk, because Pooh don't rap cap. What he says in his bars, that's his real life. Now here's where things get messy. That ARP he mentioned, that's slang for a fully automatic weapon. And if you're on federal parole, that's the last thing you're supposed to have anywhere near you. Like, that's an instant violation, no questions asked. And get this, at the time, Pooh Shiesty was staying in a halfway house as part of his release terms. For anyone who doesn't know, that's not some chill spot. It's a transitional facility where people who get out early gotta stay before going fully home. You sleep there every night, follow tight rules, check in and out for everything, and slowly earn more freedom as you prove you can stay straight. It's meant to help people adjust back to normal life, but it still means you're under strict federal control. In those places, curfew is serious business. You gotta be back by a certain time every single night, no excuses. You can't just come and go like it's your house. When you're under federal supervision, every move needs clearance, permission to travel, permission to work certain jobs, and you definitely can't be hanging around known felons or gang members. The whole purpose is to ease you back into normal life while keeping you under serious watch. But let's be real. When it comes to the feds, there's no room for mistakes. Federal supervision ain't like the state level. They don't give second chances. These officers are trained to catch everything. They can pop up at your spot anytime, run through your things, hit you with random drug tests, and if you break even the tiniest rule, you're gone. Straight back to finish that sentence. Now, for someone like Pooty, the CEO of Chopper Gang, the rules were supposed to be even tighter. The feds don't just monitor people, they watch entire organizations. When you're leading something called Chopper Gang, you already know they're tracking every call, every person you link with, and every move you make. They want to see who's around you and what business you're into every second of the day. And here's where things really started to spiral. What landed Pooh Shiesty in this mess in the first place wasn't anything new. It's part of a long pattern that shows he never really learned his lesson. His original case came from some heavy street activity back in 2020. The feds had already been keeping tabs because of multiple incidents linked to him, things that made them take him very seriously. The main situation that sealed his fate? A robbery gone bad? He linked up with someone, things went left, and shots got fired during the whole setup. It was wild from the jump.
Now, in just one station, surveillance cameras showing a new view of a violent shootout in a parking lot of a South Florida apartment building. The barrage of bullets sending 2 people to the hospital, and it lands a rapper in jail.
According to the official court documents, this wasn't just some random street hit. It was planned out. The paperwork shows everything was lined up ahead of time, like they knew exactly what they were walking into.
And it lands a rapper in jail. 7 Sheldon Fox with the exclusive.
Rhode Island says you're wanted.
Mr. Williams, you were arrested for pursuant to an arrest.
It was part of a whole pattern of wild behavior the feds had been watching closely for a while. They already had a file stacked high on him. This wasn't some one-off situation, but that's not even the craziest part. There's also the story about him allegedly letting off shots inside a club after somebody reportedly snatched his cash. Things got out of control fast that night. In the chaos, a security guard, who was just there doing his job keeping the peace, ended up getting hit. That single moment made everything 10 times worse for Pooh Shiesty. It turned what could have been a regular dispute into another serious federal case on his name, and the feds made sure to take note of every single detail.
Popular rapper arrested. He's accused of shooting a security guard at a South Florida gentleman's club and will remain behind bars. A judge denied bond for 21-year-old Lontrell Williams.
Real talk. And when you're living like that in the streets, it's not just your life on the line. You're putting innocent people in danger. People just out here trying to earn a living and make it home safe. That's exactly what made Pooh Shiesty's situation so serious in the eyes of the law. The feds built their entire case on a long list of violent run-ins, armed robbery, assault with a deadly weapon, and conspiracy charges. They painted Pooh Shiesty as someone who reached for violence first and thought about consequences later. The prosecution came in heavy, arguing he was a threat to the community and needed to be locked up for the full 20 years they originally pushed for. But his defense team went to war for him in court. They fought hard, saying he was still young, had real talent, and just needed a chance to turn his life around. They convinced the judge to bring it down to 8 years, which was still tough, but way better than 2 decades behind bars. When Pooh Shiesty finally came home, everything was lining up perfectly. His First Day Out song was blowing up everywhere, numbers through the roof. He was getting plaques, cruising around in foreign cars, and even rumored to be spending time with India Love. It looked like he had it all: fame, money, and a fresh start. That First Day Out track wasn't just music, it was a statement. He was letting the world know he was back, focused, and ready to take over the rap game again. The video racked up millions of views, and for a minute, everyone really thought he was about to be one of those rare stories, a street rapper who actually made it out clean. He was supposed to be that guy, the one who learned from his mistakes and used his second chance to build something real. But behind the scenes, the streets were buzzing about how he was really moving. People close to him said he never truly dropped that street mindset. He was still running with the same crowd, talking that same talk, and acting like nothing could touch him. The problem with being on federal parole is simple. They see everything. The feds are watching your socials, your music videos, your travel moves, even who you chill with. Every post, every lyric, every hangout gets analyzed like evidence. And when you're out here rapping about having automatic weapons while you're on supervised release, that's not just artistic expression, that's self-incrimination. But here's where things really exploded. The whole situation came to light when Ben the Don broke the news live on stream. Right in the middle of his broadcast, he got that phone call about the raid, and you could hear the shock in his voice. He was like, "They took everything, cleaned him out." You could tell even Ben wasn't expecting it to go down that fast. At first, Ben tried to keep it quiet, like maybe it was just rumors, but the streets already knew what time it was. The clip went viral instantly. In that moment, you can hear Ben on the phone saying, "You remember that bet? When Buddy had this right here and I told you he going to jail, he's going back, remember?" It was like a full circle moment. The exact prediction everyone brushed off had finally come true, and now the whole internet was watching it unfold in real time. He was supposed to be the one who turned it all around, the guy who learned from his mistakes and used his second chance to build something solid. But behind the scenes, the streets were buzzing about how he was really moving. People close to him kept saying he never fully dropped that street mentality. He was still running with the same people, talking that same talk, and acting like he couldn't be touched. The thing with federal parole is, there's no hiding. They're watching everything, your socials, your music videos, who you chill with, where you travel, even what you post in your captions. Every single move is under a microscope. And when you're dropping songs talking about automatic weapons while still on supervised release, that's not just music anymore. That's straight up evidence. And here's the part that really had everyone's jaw on the floor. The first person to break the news wasn't a reporter. It was Ben the Don. During a live stream, he got that unexpected call about the raid, and you could hear the shock hit him in real time. He was like, "They took everything, cleaned him out." You could tell even Ben wasn't ready for what he was hearing. At first, he tried to downplay it, acting like maybe it wasn't that deep. But by then, the streets already knew the truth. The clip of that moment went viral fast. You can hear Ben on the phone saying, "You remember that bet? When Buddy had this right here and I told you he going to jail, he's going back." That line hit different. It was like watching the prediction play out live, the kind of moment that had the entire internet going crazy.
You remember that bet when Buddy had this right here? And I told you, I was like, he going to jail?
Yeah.
He's going back.
The way Ben said it made it clear. This wasn't exactly a shock. People who really knew Pooh Shiesty's situation saw this coming a mile away. But here's where things start to get real interesting. After the clip went viral, Ben hopped on Twitter trying to clear the air, saying the call wasn't about Pooh Shiesty. He tweeted, "I understand y'all gotta get y'all money, but that's cap as F. Shy ain't have a MF thing to do with that call." Now, whether he was trying to protect his boy or just do some quick damage control, nobody really knows. But one thing's for sure, the truth came out anyway. Turns out, that raid wasn't some random pull-up. It was planned. Federal agents don't move off rumors. They build cases brick by brick. They gather all the receipts, track your moves, and when everything lines up perfectly, that's when they strike. From what's been reported, the feds hit his spot, found exactly what they were looking for, and took him into custody right on the spot. It happened fast, no warning, no time to run. And just a few hours later, every blog on the internet had it posted. Pooh Shiesty was back in federal custody. DJ Academics even came through with confirmation, pulling up the federal prison records showing Pooh Shiesty's real name, Rel Darnell Williams Jr., along with his register number and his new release date, April 11th, 2026. That date hit hard because it was the same one listed on his original sentence before he got out early on parole. Basically, the feds reset the clock. And here's the thing, this wasn't just about one mistake or one rule broken. This was about a pattern of choices that proved Pooh Shiesty didn't take his second chance seriously. The streets had been whispering for months that he was still moving wild since he came home. And now, it's like all those warnings came true. For anyone who doesn't fully get how federal parole works, let's break it down real quick. When you get released early, you're not really free. You're still under strict federal control. Every step, every call, every post can either keep you out or send you right back in. When you're on federal parole, you're not truly free. You're still serving your sentence, just out in the community instead of sitting behind bars. You've got a long list of conditions, strict curfews, mandatory check-ins, no weapons, no linking with known felons, and absolutely no criminal activity. The rules are tight. Break even one, and you're headed straight back to finish out the rest of your original sentence. Now, the fact that Pooh Shiesty's new release date is April 11th, 2026, the same as his original release date, tells us a lot. That means this whole situation was most likely a parole violation, not new criminal charges. If he'd caught brand new charges, he'd be facing extra time stacked on top of what he already had. Instead, it looks like the feds just hit the reset button, making him serve out the remainder of that original 8-year sentence. But here's the real mystery. What exactly triggered that raid? Was it his lyrics bragging about weapons? Him being out past curfew? Maybe it was getting caught around people he wasn't supposed to be with? Or did they find something during one of those random checks the feds love to do? Based on how everything played out, it seems clear the feds had been quietly building this case for a minute. They probably had multiple violations lined up before making their move. The curfew mess that happened live on Ben's stream, those lyrics hinting at guns, maybe even surveillance showing him hanging with the wrong crowd. Once they had enough, they swooped in and shut it down. But this right here, it's bigger than just one rapper slipping up. It's about the cycle that keeps dragging young black men back into the system. When you come from the streets, it's not easy to walk away from that world, especially when that same world is what made you famous in the first place. And to make it worse, the music game feeds off that image. Labels want rappers with that real street credibility. Fans want that gritty talk, and social media pushes the most outrageous stuff to the top. So artists end up stuck, trying to stay true to the life that gave them their name, while also trying to stay free long enough to enjoy it. For Pooh Shiesty, that balance was his downfall. His whole brand was built on being that street dude. Chopper gang, the gun talk, the robbery stories. It's what made his music real to people. But at the end of the day, that same energy that got him to the top is exactly what pulled him right back down. That's exactly what made him blow up. That raw, street-heavy image that fans couldn't get enough of. But when you're on federal supervision, you can't live that brand anymore. You've got to evolve, switch gears, and find a way to keep your artistry alive without crossing any lines that could land you back behind bars. What makes this whole situation even more tragic is the ripple effect it sends through his community and his fans. Young people were watching him, rooting for him. When they see someone get a second chance and then lose it, it sends a dangerous message, like maybe real change isn't even possible. That's heartbreaking. Pooh Shiesty had the perfect setup to inspire the next generation, to show the kids in Memphis and beyond that you can come from the streets, make mistakes, serve your time, and still build something solid and legitimate. But instead, he ended up becoming another example of what not to do. And let's not forget the money side of all this, because the financial hit is massive. He was pulling in serious cash, streaming revenue, show money, endorsement deals. All of that stops the moment those bars close. His team, his family, everyone who depended on him for income, they're all left struggling while he serves the rest of his time. Then you've got the legal side. Fighting federal cases is no joke. His family probably spent hundreds of thousands of dollars just to get his sentence reduced the first time around. Now, if he wants to appeal this violation, or if new charges pop up, that whole costly process starts again. That's years of stress and money gone. The record label situation adds another layer to the mess. Labels invest big in artists like Pooh Shiesty, expecting long-term payoffs. Tours, albums, brand deals, everything. But when an artist gets locked up, especially for a parole violation, that investment becomes shaky. Some labels have clauses that let them drop an artist immediately after an arrest, while others might stay loyal but freeze all upcoming projects until the legal smoke clears. Either way, that momentum, gone overnight. And here's the part that hurts the most. It didn't even have to go down like this. This whole thing was completely avoidable. All he had to do was play it smart. Stay home when required, avoid weapons, chill on the illegal talk in his lyrics while under federal supervision, and stop linking with known criminals. Just a few basic rules. That's all it took to keep his freedom intact, but instead, he risked everything for the image. And now, it's all catching up to him. It's wild when you think about it. Just some simple moves could have kept him free to stack his money and grow his career. Imagine what Pooh Shiesty could have done with just 3 more years of freedom. He could have dropped multiple projects, built his own label from the ground up, invested in legit businesses, and cemented himself as one of the biggest names in the game. But instead, those years are about to be spent behind bars, watching other artists rise and take the spots that could have been his. That's the harsh truth. Now, halfway houses are supposed to help people transition back into normal life. But let's keep it real. Most of them are rough. They're overcrowded, short-staffed, and usually set up in the same neighborhoods where temptation is everywhere. It's hard to change your surroundings when you're still surrounded by the same type of energy that got you caught up in the first place. For someone like Pooh Shiesty, famous with money and a spotlight on him, that halfway house setup might have never been enough structure to keep him grounded. The truth is, the parole system itself isn't really designed to help people win. It's more about punishment than real rehabilitation. Instead of helping people rebuild their lives, it often puts them in situations where it's too easy to mess up. And when that happens, the consequences hit hard. One wrong move, even without committing a new crime, can send you right back to prison. And that's exactly what happened here. But to be fair, the rules are there for a reason. Federal supervision is meant to protect the community while giving people a shot to prove they've changed. The problem comes when someone keeps pushing those limits. When you violate again and again, especially after being convicted of violent crimes, the system eventually has to act. So what happens now? Pooh Shiesty is officially set to be released on April 11th, 2026, as long as he doesn't catch any new charges while inside. That gives him about 15 months to really think about everything. His choices, his path, and how he wants to move when he touches back down. The hip-hop scene won't be the same by then. New sounds, new faces, new trends. If he wants to reclaim his spot, he's gonna have to come back smarter, sharper, and ready to leave all that old chaos behind. By the time Pooh Shiesty comes home, the rap game will look completely different. New artists will have blown up, the sound will have shifted, and that wave he once had, gone. In hip-hop, momentum is everything, and once it slips away, it's tough to get it back. Starting over in this industry is already hard for a new artist with no name, but for someone coming back older with multiple arrests tied to their image, that mountain gets even steeper. His legal team might still try to push for an appeal or argue for another early release, but this time it's going to be a serious uphill battle. Judges don't like seeing people waste second chances, especially when they were generous the first time. Prosecutors are definitely going to say he's proven he can't be trusted out in the community. The system sees that as a pattern, not a mistake. So now the best thing Pooh Shiesty can do is use this time wisely. Get back to writing, reading, and reflecting. Maybe even take classes, earn that GED, or tap into other programs that'll set him up for a smarter comeback. Because when he gets out, it can't just be talk. He's got to show real change. Actions speak louder than bars this time. But the real question is, what happens when April 2026 hits? Will Pooh Shiesty come out a better man, ready to move differently? Or will we end up watching this same cycle repeat again? The hip-hop world is paying close attention, and a lot of young artists are learning from how this all played out. This story isn't just about Pooh Shiesty. It's about what happens when opportunity meets old habits. It's about how hard it is to break free from your past when your environment, your circle, and your reputation keep pulling you back. And for the younger crowd watching, the lesson couldn't be clearer. When life hands you a second chance, you take it seriously. Don't let pride, peer pressure, or the pressure to keep your image cost you your freedom. None of that means anything if you can't be out here to enjoy the success you worked for. For every artist, every dreamer, every kid in the struggle, this right here should be a wake-up call. Federal supervision ain't no joke. It's serious business. The rules might seem unfair or too strict at times, but breaking them will cost you everything you've worked for. Pooh Shiesty could have easily stayed free by just focusing on his music and sticking to the simple terms of his early release, but instead, he moved like the feds weren't watching. And now, he's right back where he started, behind bars, serving out the rest of his original sentence. The saddest part in all this? He had everything he needed to win. Raw talent, major opportunities, real resources, and a solid support system of people who believed in him. But none of that matters if you can't make the right choices when it counts the most. So what do you think about Pooh Shiesty's situation and his future in hip-hop? Do you think he's going to come out of this stronger and finally switch up how he moves? Or is this just another chapter in a long cycle that keeps repeating itself? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. We want to hear what you think. And before you go, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share this video to keep the conversation going. We're bringing you all the latest real talk and updates from the world of hip-hop. No sugarcoating, no filter, just the facts and the culture straight up. Let this be a lesson for anybody out there on parole or probation. Your freedom is a privilege, not a guarantee. Don't throw it away chasing street respect or trying to prove something that's not worth the years you could lose behind bars. Stay focused, stay out the way, and let your success speak louder than your past. Because the truth is, the streets will always be there. But opportunities like the one Pooh Shiesty had don't come often. When you get that second chance, grab it with both hands and don't ever let it slip away. Because once it's gone, it might never come back. That's all for today, fam. Keep it 100, stay smart, and stay free. We'll catch you in the next one. Because remember, the streets are always watching, and so are the feds. Don't ever give them a reason to come knocking.